This is the MoCo Show podcast. If it's happening in Montgomery County, we're talking about it. Here are your hosts, Steve Solomon and Alex Saronis.
Welcome to the MoCo Show podcast. I'm Steve Solomon along with Alex Saronis. We are at Fat Fingers in downtown Silver Spring today, episode 57. Alex,
we are going to keep numbering them because I'll tell you, someone reached out and they said to me, they said, you know, it helps when I'm looking through like iTunes to see like, oh, I haven't heard 57 yet.
Right.
So I'm going to start putting them back on.
All right, fair enough.
I'm putting them back on.
I won one, John. I won one argument.
All it took was one person to let me know, and I appreciate that.
So Fat Fingers is a new place here in downtown Silver Spring, and as you can see by the logo, what a cool logo. The first time I saw this logo when you posted about them coming, I was like, that's a cool logo.
Yeah.
That alone will get some attention because it draws your eye to it, Fat Fingers. And their slogan on the wall there, let your fingers do the eating. And that's what they do here at Fat Fingers. It is comfort food, foods we all know about, burgers, wings, pizza, fries, tater tots, little seafood, some po' boys, mozzarella sticks. We had the Fat Fingers baskets with chicken tenders, onion straws, tater tots. We enjoyed that. We loved the Fat Fingers burger.
I love the cheesesteak. The sauce on the cheesesteak to me was my favorite.
It was
thing.
delicious too. And they had the pretzel stick that was delicious. We really like it. So Fat Fingers is new here. They're at the old Paisanos spot in downtown Silver Spring, 8213 Georgia Avenue. A brief 3-block walk from my place of work, which I walked here today. You might have to drive me back if it's raining by the time we leave, but we'll see about that. And they do a lot of cool things. 20% off if you're military or first responder, police, fire, and rescue. I really like the wings. I'm a wing guy, and the regular buffalo wings were just perfect. Not too spicy, not too mild. One of the best I've had, the wings. So check them out, Fat Fingers here. Comfort food. Let your fingers do the eating. And you did a cool video of your fingers becoming fat, just like the Fat Fingers logo here. And thanks to Jimmy, the owner, for having us out here. Jose and Billy taking care of us today. We appreciate it very much. Got us all the food. We were stuffed. We're like, oh, man. We ate a lot. This is awesome. A little of everything here. Comfort food. Let your fingers do the eating. I like that slogan there. That's very cool. So a ton of openings and closings.
Yeah,
to get
actually,
to this week.
I got two kind of breaking news type of stories.
News.
One, Urban Barbecue in Norbeck, the Rockville location, closed because a car drove through the window. And they put out on Facebook already, we're closed for the time being. And someone said, no, I'm going to miss you all. And they said, maybe we'll come back. I don't know what that means. I don't know if, like, the car was just kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, and now they're like, we're never coming back. But
I don't know how long it takes to rebuild a big window.
Probably a while because there's damage inside. It has to go through inspections again.
Yeah, what was it? In downtown Bethesda, one of the stores had a car go through the window, and they were closed for months. Because when I used to live there years ago, I remember driving by it every day, and they were all boarded up. It was like the poultry and meat. It was right across from the crab house. It was like a meat retailer kind of place. Months they were closed. I'm like, man, for a window, I thought you could do that in a couple days. Like, call Safe Flight, right? You know, Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace. They come right to you and take care of it. But we're hoping Urban can fix that pretty quickly because you don't make money by staying closed.
Sure.
So
well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We also have Sugarland cupcakes.
Sugarland.
That's also kind of a new thing. It's coming to Gaithersburg Square next to Ross. It's near where Chuck E. Cheese is in the Gaithersburg area. And then we have a couple. Well, I guess we have a closing in Durwood/Gaithersburg.
Durwood,
suburb we were at recently.
Yes,
and I have the inside scoop on that. So,
all right, I knew you would when you posted this.
Red Hot and Blue has closed permanently. They had closed initially, temporarily, because they had to do some renovations, which included the air conditioning in the restaurant. So the air conditioning was broken, and I was told that the temperature reached the hundreds in the kitchen,
which is bad, even though it's a barbecue place. That's bad.
And I was told that that somebody didn't kind of said you got to gut through it. Let's and we'll try to fix it as soon as possible. And The other side said, there's no way we can work in this.
Wow.
So it ended up just kind of closing. And I don't know if the location was really making money. It was there for 30 years.
It was there they had new ownership. We went there after they had
new management.
New management, right? New management, and we saw the manager out at the Girl Power event too.
And they were crushing it.
They were crushing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest line in the place was for Red Hot and Blue, and they still have locations in Virginia, and Laurel's the closest one here in Maryland. My girl was upset. She's like, we've gone there a bunch of times. We're like, oh no, we got to go to Laurel now, I guess. But that's unfortunate news for them. 30 years in one place, and now they've closed down. So that's unfortunate for them.
So we also have a couple of things to kind of circle back on. Two things we broke: Wawa and Royal Farms, both still on track to open in Gaithersburg. The plans are out. But now Starbucks is going to be joining Royal Farms at the Spectrum
Another
at Watkins
Starbucks.
Mill Town Center.
All right.
I'll tell you, Starbucks is always a good thing because
they are. People love Starbucks.
There's nothing in that town square. There's a California Tortilla and Barking Mad. And actually, Starbucks is going to take away from Barking Mad because it's a cafe. So we'll see what happens there. This is MoCo show breaking news. Taylor Gourmet is returning to Pike and Rose. We broke that just a couple days ago. Taylor Gourmet was the sandwich shop that had like 17 locations in our area. They all closed down except for one location called the Zombie Taylor Gourmet, which is still open in Reagan National.
Okay.
And but that's like operated by like not the core. I don't know, whatever it is. Some guy a customer ended up buying Taylor Gourmet, and he's opening 3 of them and potentially more. So Taylor Gourmet coming back to Pike and Rose, the exact location it was at. A little down the street in Rockville, King's Craft Beer and Wine is opening this weekend in King Farm. It's kind of their soft opening, so go over there and check it out. Also, back to Pike and Rose, Federal Realty is moving from Congressional Plaza to Pike and Rose.
Just down the street. They're one of the big owners of property in the area, Federal Realty.
They own a lot, so they're moving down the street to a very tall building in Pike and Rose. I think that'll help out like the lunch crowd over there. They're bringing like 1,000 employees over there with them.
That's just people they're bringing, and those people will be eating, so it's great for Pike and Rose. That's a huge amount of people in a small... It's still a pretty small area, Pike and Rose.
Yeah.
Although it's
a
getting,
shopping center.
Yeah, it's getting more populated, but there's a lot of stores there. It's good to bring commercial there as well. And Federal Realty is quite commercial. That's their business.
It is. Gazebo Cafe, which was a very interesting place. Me and Kayla actually went there a couple weeks ago, and they have like waffles with bulgogi, which is like Korean barbecue,
Okay.
So it's like a weird combination, but they're closing in the Kentlands, and they're being taken over by FC Book Cafe. It'll be like a library downstairs and a cafe upstairs type of thing.
Like
they're looking
like
for
a mini Barnes & Noble, but very
much smaller.
Very small scale.
Smaller than Fat Fingers itself here.
Yeah.
So much smaller. And then Cubano's is a restaurant that's here in Silver Spring.
Yeah.
They're opening a second location at the old Louisiana Kitchen location over in Bethesda.
Okay.
So they're coming over there. We broke that news. Special thanks to one of our readers who gave me a tip, and I gave Cubano's a call, and they confirmed it for me. And then finally, we have a boutique butchery. Soko is coming to Tacoma Park down the street from here.
Soko coming to MoCo. How about that?
It is, and this is like, and I think Dan Reed said, this is the most Tacoma Park thing there could be.
It's a boutique butchery?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
But they'll have like sandwiches and
I'm sure.
and stuff like that. So it'll be a cool place, and I'm excited for that.
Cool. A lot of openings and closings here this week.
We have something that it's not quite a closing, but it's very popular. Now, as someone who's not from my side of the county, Steve, did you know the Belward Farm tree?
I did not.
Okay. So for me, I didn't. Growing up, even though it's in Rockville, it's right on the border of Gaithersburg. I always thought that was the Gaithersburg tree.
Because it does look like the image in the logo.
I always assumed that's what it was.
Jerry West.
When I got older, I realized that the forest oak in Old Town Gaithersburg was the tree that's in the logo. It fell about 10, 15 years ago. But I always thought that Belward Farm tree was it. OAR, Wooten graduates, big band, famous band.
That you hear on the opening of this show.
That's right. They had that Belward Farm tree on their album cover. So it's a pretty popular tree. Anyone that lives in the area that drives by Belward Farm will see that tree. It's a quarter mile from my house.
Okay.
But apparently the tree died.
As trees do, eventually.
No
do you know
green.
how old it was? Or
I don't have an exact age on it.
probably since the Belward Farm was there.
I would say over 100 years.
Right.
You know, it's been there a while.
I mean, I don't know any. I know the Eisenhower tree is the one at the Masters that died. It was there for like 100-something years, and every I'm not even a big golf guy, but I know the Eisenhower tree, and the tree in my yard died recently as well. Trees die eventually, and remember, if once the tree dies, you want to get it down so it doesn't fall over in a storm. When it stops showing leaves and greenery, down it should go. Right?
Yeah, I mean, and they're going to remove it. I don't know when. There's no like date for it, but a lot of people are like, "Can I take a part of it home?"
Oh yeah.
So that'd be kind of cool.
Like Coalfield House Court.
Yeah.
You want like just a piece of that.
But does a piece of tree like last?
I would think eventually it
Crumbles and
biodegrades into nothing, but that might take hundreds of years. I think just a piece of tree would be fine.
Maybe if you dip it in like a
keep it in water.
No, you dip it in like a lacquer type thing,
bronzing it.
Yeah,
like,
something like that.
Put it like a marlin on your wall.
Maybe I'll keep it. That's.
I don't know.
That's kind of. But I wanted to bring that up.
I mean,
because
wood lives once it's cut from a tree.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't just shrivel up. But I guess they treat it. Like this table.
But do they? Like when you buy a piece of lumber, it's not treated.
It depends. You can buy treated wood or non-treated wood.
You go to like Home Depot and you buy like a 2x4.
I don't think it's treated.
Yeah, so that doesn't crumble.
No, because it's been
compressed.
I don't know if it's compressed. It's been cut from a tree. Yeah. I mean, they take trees, put them on a big table saw and cut.
But maybe they were like alive when they did it. They weren't
like a lobster in water.
Peter's gonna
that
come
kind of thing.
out.
No, I don't know. I guess I should know this. I was a carpenter all throughout college, cutting wood, and then professionally for almost a year. I cut thousands of pieces of 2x4s. I should know better whether they're alive or dead. But they last forever if you put it. They're in your house. They're in the frame of your house. They're everywhere in the frames of walls. Every 8 feet. A stud, or 2 feet.
Stud finder.
2 feet.
There's one.
Hey, there's one. Every 2 feet, you got a stud. I think it's still 2 feet. I'm old. I haven't done the carpentry in a long time. We did something cool this past weekend.
We did.
That was very unique. My first time judging an eating contest. I felt very, very privileged to do that. We went to our friend Patrick at Dogfish Ale House in Gaithersburg. They have their farmers market every Saturday, so one of the farmers market customers, Dangerously Delicious Pies, got together with Patrick, said, let's do a pie eating contest. And you've been promoting it for a while, and people seem to
there's a lot of people at that thing in general.
There were 10 contestants, and we filmed it, and you can watch it on the YouTube channel. John put that together, the pie eating contest. And 10 contestants, and there had to be 100 people out there watching like us. Our friend Judd Ashman, mayor of Gaithersburg, was there, one of our co-judges.
The Ultimate Warrior, I saw him in the video.
Yes, you were there as well. We met Joanna, who did the
face
painting for kids, and she was very good at it. And she had a book that you could choose any character from, but you're like, can you do the Ultimate Warrior? One of our favorite wrestlers. And she said, let me see a picture, and sure. So she could apparently do anything from sight, and you had the Ultimate Warrior face paint on, and there was, of course, the belt for the contest winner, the pie eating contest winner. So you were the Ultimate Warrior there, just like in WrestleMania 6 when he beat Hogan to take the title. The Warrior held the belt. You should have shook the ropes.
I should have.
Like the Warrior
did. He had a plan that if somebody won, I would have hit him with a chair and started an angle after, but it didn't work out that way.
But it was
Howard ended up winning. Let me tell you, what's interesting about this whole... Well, Howard said he was going to win, but I feel like everyone thought they were going to win. But it took 25 minutes.
That was the weird part. I didn't know the rules beforehand. I assumed it was a timed event, and that's why we were going to be judges, because after 10 minutes, whoever ate the most won. And it was blueberry pie, and as a germaphobe and an OCD person, I, of course, would never do this. But the people there ate it without their hands, without utensils, obviously, and they just dug their faces right in there. It was on a table. Howard's pie fell on the ground. It was in the parking lot at Dogfish. It fell right on the ground, and he still ate it. He was dedicated to win. And I tell you, a lot of the other people were too. People would eventually just... It was a huge pie, so I don't think I could have eaten that thing in an hour with a fork and knife, pacing myself.
No. Yeah.
And I can put food away like you're a regular person, but about every couple of minutes someone gave up. Some had a reversal of fortune, they call it in the business,
Yeah.
where the pie came back out. But I think about 3 people were left at the end by the time Howard finished. Our friend Joanna was there still eating away, and Howard won, and he got the belt, and he didn't feel well.
He did not feel well.
A lot of the people did not feel well. So maybe for the second annual one next year, we'll do a timed contest to see what we can do about that. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun to do. The contestants, I suppose, had fun. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. The crowd had fun cheering people on. So give it a watch there at our YouTube channel. John put that together, a very cool event. We met Rodney, the pie man, who was the guy who was like the MC of the event. He was also a musician who played during the farmers market, and he makes these pies from the dangerously delicious pies. They have a cool farmers market there at Dogfish. They've only been going a couple months, but they've got a little bit different thing. It's not all corn and vegetables. They have some of that, but they had the dill pickles. Phil's Dills was there. Dill pickles. They had the pie guy.
One of my former students, Amar.
Yes,
he was with chocolate and tomatoes. And, I taught him in middle school at Roberto Clemente. He went to Seneca Valley. Then he got in some trouble. He went to the alternative program, formerly known as Mark Twain, where I also worked. And I taught him there. And, I think what were we drinking? We were tasting the...
we saw my friend Taka Amano, husband to Lynn Amano, who ran for Board of Ed. I got to meet both of them when we were all running together. And he has American Shochu. It's... a drink. It's a spirit. It's different than sake. It's a Japanese spirit, shochu, and Taka runs his own distillery out of Frederick, and they sell American shochu. It's he and his wife. That's their business, and we tried that. And I'm not a big drinker, especially of liquor.
But you liked it.
But I liked it because he put Sprite and some shochu, and it tasted good. I was like, those are the kind of mixed drinks I like. So that was a cool farmer's market.
That's
there.
when Amar came up to us, and that's where I talked to him. I was like, whoa, I did a double take, and then I went back with him.
Everyone knows Alex. Wherever we go, you find either someone who knows you from the MoCo show or a former student. That's why you'll one day rule this county, because everyone knows you. It's amazing. It's remarkable. Like, last week we were at Poke Dojo, you saw a guy. Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
I know that guy. You know everybody. Like Fofo, you've had thousands of kids that you've taught over the years, so it was pretty cool, and that was a fun time at the Dogfish pie eating contest. And we might do it again in a little different manner, but
we have
brave people who are doing that.
We tease this. We don't know if it's going to happen for sure, but we might be doing something with Dogfish and a former Redskin. We won't say who yet.
Well, we can kind of tease what we're doing.
Schmexter Schmanley.
Maybe. Well, we don't want to know that yet.
No,
but,
we don't know. I didn't say a name.
Yet.
No name.
But I think we're going to put something together. We talked to Patrick about this opening game for the Skins, September 8th against the Eagles. We're going to be out at Dogfish to celebrate the opening of the season. We're all football fans, love the Skins, and love football. And
so I want to watch the game, though. That's the thing.
I think you can watch the game there.
I'm not
Can you not hear?
No, you can. I'm not trying to talk to people.
Right.
I'm not trying
to. Maybe we'll do like the pregame thing.
I mean, I'll talk to anyone that comes up and says hello. But
get away! I'm too important from you. I'm Alex, the MoCo show guy. No,
I just want to watch the game.
We were very personable, but maybe we'll do something. Maybe we'll start at like 11 because it's a 1:00 game, and schmooze and eat and enjoy the festivities, and then watch at 1. I like watching too. For those who don't know, and why would you? I used to work on the Redskins broadcast game day for 7 years. I did pregame show, postgame show, and I did the games for a year in the studios. So I wasn't able to watch Sunday football from like 2003 to 10.
Yeah.
So when I finally passed the torch to someone else, as you do in radio, some younger sucker gets to do it from then on. I was like, finally, I can watch the games again, and it's that's what Sundays in the fall or when I watch football. Saturdays too. I like college, but it's a good time, and out at places like Dogfish that have lots of TVs and lots of beer and lots of good food. It's fun too. So we'll be there September 8th for the opening day, and hopefully a prominent ex-Redskin who is still in town, who everyone will know will be there with us as well. Just working on the details of that. Time now for a guest here at Fat Fingers, joined by my friend Coach Fofo of ESYDA, the Elite Soccer Youth Development Academy. Fofo, welcome to Fat Fingers.
Thank you to have me, and it was a pleasure to have a moment with you, and I appreciate also the great thing you be doing in MoCo. Spending time advertising, showcase, and there's a community work you got to do. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And speaking of doing great things in MoCo, I met Coach Fofo at the Independence Day Parade of Montgomery County this year, just a few weeks ago. Yeah. And I had no idea about him or his organization. Coach Fofo was walking in the parade for Montgomery County's Independence Day Parade with several of his students and players from ESYDA. Yeah. And tell us a little about your organization, Elite Soccer Youth Development Academy, history of it, a little bit about yourself too, Fofo.
By myself, I was a former professional soccer player from Togo. I played for Togo national team. Then back 1979 to all the way to 1987. After I played 2 World Cup, under 16.
A World Cup player with us here. First one on the MoCo show. Very cool.
1980 with U16, and then 7 years later on the U20 in Chile of Santiago, and then I had to have a chance to move up to Europe from Togo, I have a professional career for like 15 years.
Professional soccer player for many years in Togo and in Europe.
In Europe, and then my situation happened. And I had to move back to USA. I didn't leave my passion on the side. I was always looking for a way to continue empower the community. And in my first job, it was be coaching a soccer coach in High Point High School.
Okay.
On the PG County.
Okay.
And then after 4 seasons, I won 2 state championships with High Point High School. And my JV finished very well the 4th season. And I said, okay, I had to improve myself more, and then I'll go to the community and then start getting and look through the community. It was a lot of things to done in the African community, Latino community, who those kids that don't have anything, right. You don't want to go to the street, drugs and bad behavior. So we come with the plan, put the soccer in the community, and then they love it, and then we use against. And today, ESYDA, Elite Soccer Youth Development Academy, will be on the page for 20 years in Montgomery County.
20 years?
Yes, serving Montgomery County kids from age 4 to 18.
Right, so ages, anyone in Montgomery County or anywhere can, you are a nonprofit.
We are a nonprofit.
Operate fully from donations of the community.
And also granted by the Montgomery County, the council member, and the county executive, who believe our program, and every year give us a token so we can continue to empower the community. So
you have dozens of kids at a time. Thousands of kids have gone through your organization in the 20 years.
Exactly.
And you have different levels of skill, your recreation and your club players as well.
Exactly.
And you play here in Montgomery County. You train in Montgomery County, right?
Yeah.
And you're not just soccer for these kids.
It's more than just soccer.
You do a lot for them as well.
Yeah. We do also a lot of education program, as a leadership program, college prep, SAT, classes. We do computer classes like coding and robotic.
That's cool.
Also, we also mentoring the kids. Let them not have the paint under their butt, but have on the waist with a belt. How to dress, how to address people, how to communicate. Be looking you on your eyes. Life skill. We also teach life skills. Of those young men, high school, middle school. We going to this weekend. We take the kid to the trip. We're going to DC.
Okay.
To visit the museum, animal museum. We're going to take them to see, because we realize so many kids live across the border from DC but never go to the DC.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
So we are taking 40 kids, 2 buses with some chaperone. And then we're going to spend, the day in D.C.
That's wonderful.
Let them see what about, all those kind of things, and then come back.
When my family or friends visit here, they're like, oh, you must go into D.C. all the time, the museums, everything. I'm like, I don't think I've been in like 30 years to some of the places. I'm like, I don't even know where some of these are. And I was born and raised here. But that's very cool. So your organization does a lot. And Fofo is a a big community leader. He's done a lot. He's won the CASA Award for his contributions to Montgomery County. He really has impacted thousands of lives, and it was a pleasure to meet you and to learn about your organization and what you've done. Please check out esyda.org to learn about your group. To learn what you do for all these kids, and I got to meet about a dozen of your players, and they were fantastic. We walked together in the parade, and it was wonderful. For everything that Fofo does for the community, we appreciate it. So ESYDA is the Elite Soccer Youth Development Academy. If you're looking for your child or to get into soccer, football, it's the way to go, and also to learn a lot of life skills that you're teaching kids.
They don't need to be professional.
Right.
We want them to be the men, can lead, have a leadership on their life, education, be passionate. We want them to go to the college. Education, sport, combined.
Right.
They can have a 4-year free, scholarship to go to any college because there's a lot of demand on a different, university down to kids to come and play soccer because the soccer is becoming popular in the USA.
Yes.
We also this year joining EDP, the Eastern Development Program.
Okay.
It's the higher competition who we're going to lead our kids. So many college coach can start look at them. Also be on all the big type of tournament in the East Coast or West Coast, in Miami, all this. So those kind of opportunity we are bringing to the table beginning of this fall season to the community. So we are pleased anyone who have a good skill, want to be leveraged, want to be playing a high level, can join us at ISIDA, to present his skill, and everybody is welcome.
And ISIDA has many coaches like yourself who are very experienced in soccer. A professional here, a World Cup player, Fofo, is it? Alex also, he's a PE teacher. In his other life, and so
I'm also a teacher.
See, you are
I'm
a teacher
special
too.
Education teacher.
Okay,
yeah.
So we all understand. I mean, I played sports to a low level, but we all understand that the great things it does for teaching kids not just how to play a sport, but you learn how to lose by playing sports. You learn how to do things together with other people. It really is a universal life lessons things. And you guys
I have a chance, just make a statement. A couple of weeks ago, we have 2 kids with EDD behavior, but parents also concerned, coach, they can't make it because we tried so many teams, they kick out because, I say, trust us, I'll give you 3 weeks, you're not going to recognize your child.
Yeah.
And after 2 weeks, he sent me a text message, say, coach, we don't know how to thank you because
That's cool.
Aaron behavior dramatically changed.
That's awesome.
Now, he's
That's
a team player. He came to the field, he's listen, he follow guidance, he playing hard, and you never know. As a couple weeks ago, parents also crazy, don't know what to put ahead because of the child behavior, and they don't know, but we teach. And it's a concept. It's a way to let those kids to have a trust on you so you can pass the communication of the teaching.
Definitely, and we applaud what you're doing at ISIDA, and I think it's very cool. That's why I wanted to have you on. To share with people like me. I'm Montgomery County-er for life. I didn't even know you guys existed, and there's so many organizations like you, nonprofits in Montgomery County. There are literally thousands of organizations operating, nonprofits in Montgomery County. I was lucky enough to work on the grants advisory board for the council and to be able to see what they do, and that we're able, between the executive and the council, to support hundreds of organizations to help them along that way between public and private partnerships that way. So, Fofo, we thank you for coming on with us today. It's a pleasure. And check out ESYDA.org to learn more about Fofo and the entire organization. Thank you, Fofo.
Thank you so much. Thank you to having me.
So I wanted to bring up the most famous person from each Montgomery County high school list.
I thought we should as well.
So John and I, we revisited that 2017 article I put out, and we shot a little video where I just pretty much stated why I thought each person was the most famous in terms of pop culture. Basically, if they're walking down the Montgomery Mall, who's going to get swamped the most?
Right.
So I guess every time I post these, the comments, half of them are cool. Half the time,
only half. Hopefully it was more than half.
Half of them are cool. The other like 25% are.
You idiot! You left out this guy.
They tell me I'm a moron. People call me an idiot. And,
How can you think Goldie Hawn is more famous than John Lynch?
Well, here's the interesting part is that people always say, like, you forgot, and then they name 10 people from a school. And I'm like, no, you can only name one. So I didn't forget anyone.
Right.
So they're like, well, you forgot Ben Stein and Carl Bernstein and Steve Francis. I'm like, no, I didn't forget them. I only named one.
You could only do one. And yes, it was somewhat controversial. I mean, my guy Helly was Magruder's. I'm like, that's my guy, Dan Helly. I guess he would be honored to know that. I could tell him. I don't know if he knows. But,
one lady commented and said, I'm afraid to even look. I'm sure it's only going to be actors and entertainers. And I was like, well, that's what fame in terms of pop culture is.
You can be famous and no one knows what you look like, and you can be not so famous and everyone knows what you look like. There's some actors in Hollywood that we all probably know, that guy, and he probably doesn't make more than $100,000 a year. And believe me, in radio, there's a lot of people no one recognizes because they don't know what they look like. At least it used to be that way. That you could walk the streets and no one has any idea who you are in radio. It's still that way for most of us. I mean, no one knows who the heck I am. But with social media now, it's a little bit different. But it was a cool list when you did it originally in print, and now John and you have brought it to life in video.
Well,
so
I'm working on a private school one now.
All right.
And here's my problem.
I hope I can make at least the top 5 from my high school since it's a very small school. No one famous.
The most famous person from your school is Natalie Portman, even though she was only there for a little and at the younger school.
She's way more famous than me.
However, my problem is that I know like 6 private schools.
Right.
And there's like 30 of them. So
that's true.
And at the same time, like, I don't know who the most famous person that went to Covenant Life is. Like, I have no idea.
That's true. Well,
I wish I did.
They have to have a Wikipedia page so you can click
and they
notable
don't.
alumni.
Well, yeah,
if they don't, you can't include them then.
Well,
my school has a notable alumni, and there's literally 3 people on there. I'm not one of them because I don't have a Wikipedia
I'm
entry.
adding you.
We should. Maybe one day I'll get on Wikipedia. Me and 18 million other people who are on Wikipedia. But yeah, that'll be a tougher one, private school, because they're smaller. They're not as known. They're some people don't even know they exist, so it's more difficult.
It's just tough. And like, another guy, he was just being like nice. I mean, he wasn't being like rude or anything. He was like, "I wish you would have added private schools when you updated this." And I said, "I didn't update it. I just read the list." And he goes,
"Next
well,
time.
The video's new." And I was like, "Yeah, I know that, but I just read the list. I wish I could had time to." It takes hours to do this research. It's not sure. Like
it probably takes hours to edit it, right, John? It took a while.
John is crushing it with the editing.
He is. We're very pumped to have John.
And sometimes we don't make it easy for him too. We're like, oh, cut this part and put this to the end.
I know when I have to edit something on the podcast, like 4 things, I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry, John, I'm gonna edit all this out like this. Here, cut. Yeah. Okay, we picked that up now, but so yeah, it is more difficult. That's why radio's easy. You just cutting and pasting audio. Yeah. It's super easy. It's very easy. But yeah, I thought that video was very cool from the most famous person from each MoCo public high school in history.
Did you see the? We won't spend too much time on this. It's Stained Glass Pub.
Yes,
it says it on the actual restaurant. It says it on the it's stained. Except I pull out a receipt that I had in my wallet by chance, and I open it, and I'm like, what is this? And it says Stained Glass Pub.
I know, and I was like, wait a second. They must print the same receipt for every person, right? They're not typing up Stain.
No, they're not, and I thought maybe they didn't have enough characters, but when you look below, the next line had more characters.
Ah, okay.
So I was like, who knows?
That is interesting. Well, not printing that E and D for every single receipt has saved them thousands of ink over the years. But it made me think of other things people pronunciate differently or incorrectly or pronounce. Differently. Pronunciations that are wrong. We talked about this with Julie when we were at Denizens about...
Denizens,
yes, at Denizens, about Montgomery County.
Yeah.
Or is it Montgomery County and how you say
I say Montgomery.
Montgomery. Some people don't say the T. Some say the O is a U. So I'm like, what else do people not say right? There's Olney, Maryland, that people often get wrong. Or they get it right and it's Olney, which I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm an Olney guy. It's like the word O-N-L-Y, except the L and the N are switched around. Olney, I think. Right outside of MoCo, there's Bowie, Maryland, right? Not Bowie, Maryland. You don't want to mess that up. But there's probably other pronunciations that people get differently depending on where you are in the county. Want to mention this, our colleague, Kevin O'Rourke in Germantown, we haven't mentioned this on the podcast yet, has been running Germantown Pulse for 5 years. It's the number one source in Germantown local news, and we met him in Germantown to do the show early on when we started this, and at a place that sadly now closed. But Kevin's done a great job of covering Germantown news, a lot of sports of Up County that he was one of the only ones to cover, and sadly he's scaling back, let's say, the business.
Well, completely. He's not writing articles anymore. He'll still put out a post or do a retweet, but he'll not. Like, he wrote, Novel Books is closing, can you help them out? He didn't do a whole article the way, like, I wrote an article about it. Like, he doesn't want to anymore.
Right. It's if you're not making money, it's something. It's tough to keep going, and honestly, a lot of businesses have to fold because they're not making money. And Kevin was doing good work and covering a lot of things, but as you would know, it's not always easy to make money, even though people are reading your stuff. So we just appreciate what Kevin did. I'm sure a lot of people in Germantown and all over the county are unhappy that he's closing this, but 5 good years, Kevin, so we salute you for that. I appreciate that. And you did mention Novel Books, where you were in Clarksburg, a local business that you went to, and have a little story from there.
Yeah, Patrick from Novel Books, he reached out, and I'd been there before. I'd been there once, and he's been a follower of MoCo Snow and the MoCo Show for a while. He said, my business is dying. He said, we need help.
Right.
So I came over there, and I wanted to do a piece where I was like, here's us coming in the door, and you'll see Patrick. Like, I wanted to do like a step-by-step of the place, but he literally sent me another email a couple weeks after I met with him, and he said, I need you to put something out for me.
Yeah.
So because of that, I kind of rushed the article and just explained what Novel Books is and put it out there. And he said he had some medical issues last year, and that led to him being far behind. He saw growth every year until he had his medical problems.
Okay.
So if you're ever in the Clarksburg area, stop by. They even have a GoFundMe if you want to go that route. But stop by, give him your business. He's a good guy, and he's trying to do the right thing over there.
I went there for the first time last year. Novel Books hosted the stand-up counties, they were called, where they asked every candidate to come on by and speak to people who came out to the bookstore. And it was me and 2 other candidates at this one stand-up county, Clarksburg, and talked to the room, and it was nice. It's a community. If you haven't been to Clarksburg, it's a small city. They have a few local businesses, and it's tough to make a living if you're not getting people outside of Clarksburg to come buy your books. And books, the business in general is not doing well. I mean, look at Borders and Barnes & Noble's closing.
Well, Patrick told me the book business has improved the last 5 years. So I don't know. I mean,
yeah. Well, we have the FC Book Cafe opening as well. So who knows what? But we encourage you to give them a try. And if you're near Clarksburg, check them out. They probably have some books you might never have seen. And there are libraries and all, but it's I've always liked. I've never been a huge reader. I used to read more, but I always liked going into Barnes & Noble and looking around. It was always fun. I'm like, oh, look at that, maybe because of the puzzles, too. I like the puzzles. But check out Novel Books. We hope we can help them out. Something else I saw that was a nice community thing was an off-duty officer saving people from a fire.
Yeah.
You posted this. This guy was off-duty, Sergeant Brooks, driving through Colesville and helped people out.
Yeah, he saw something happening and ran in there and helped out. How cool is that?
Yeah, and,
unfortunately, we only hear like bad stories, but I'm so happy to see a good story out there.
I mean, every day there's police officers helping people in this county. People on the side of the road, they sit there with them while waiting. When traffic lights are out, it's the police officers standing in this heat, guiding traffic with their hands because the light is out. So this was cool. He saved this couple in Colesville, and it got a little bit of press, which was nice. So we appreciate when the good things happen
for sure
as well. School starts soon for you, a few weeks. You might be back to school already if you're a teacher or a department head, but class has already started for 2 schools. They're doing this pilot program in Montgomery County where
Sergeant Shriver and Arcola? Roscoe Nix and Arcola.
Have both started. They got a very short break in June.
3 weeks off.
And they're back in school, so it's a year-round program that they started.
I have a friend that's a teacher at Arcola.
Okay.
And, she's
like, I get no break. But
she gets paid. She gets paid her, her hourly rate, which,
right.
is what it is.
Yeah, so that's pretty good for teachers. You now make a quarter more than you made before if you're a Arcola or a Nix teacher. And I'm sure a lot of kids don't like it because they want to go to camp or
well, here's the thing.
Trips with their family.
The reason they're having it, and they picked those 2 schools, they said that in those schools, kids, when they're home, they're just alone.
Right.
It's not like they're missing out on camps or missing out on trips. They're missing out on being home alone. And school not only provides like a meal, but a place to be and a place where they can kind of do something very productive.
I mean, if you think about it, childcare in the summer is a huge expense for a lot of people. During the year, up to 4 or 5, you have daycare for kids. A lot of people go through that who have kids, and summers are tougher. I mean, I remember during the summer, my grandparents watched us when I wasn't at camp until my brother got old enough to watch me. So it was difficult to find who's going to watch us. My parents both worked all week, so childcare is difficult, especially in the summer. So this is a good thing for that as well.
I'd say, as a teacher, I would do 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off, rather than a summer vacation.
Right.
If every 6 weeks I had a 2-week vacation to look forward to, work would be the easiest thing in the world.
I wish we could do like 4 10-hour day kind of work. I did that when I was a carpenter. I did 4 10s and got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off for the year I worked there. And in radio, a lot of people do 4 shows a week. I was like, why aren't we doing this? Come on, this is a good idea. But I guess a lot of places around the country are trying it.
I want school to be like, and it only works at some schools, but like I want some high schools can be like, look, if you choose to go to this high school, you go in, you get your work done, and you're out.
Right.
So if it takes you 2.5 hours to get through everything and get your work done, that's how long it takes you. And the teachers are still going to be there for a certain amount of time, but you come in and it's like, all right, here, go, and the teacher kind of has like stations set up, and here's what we're doing today. You can learn from watching it on the thing, you can read it from this, or you can hear me, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Right. It would just be a good idea, personally, I think. Who knows?
One other thing I wanted to mention was, you might have heard about this, the National Philharmonic, which is a Montgomery County-based Philharmonic. They kind of work out of Strathmore. It's a huge band. It's 130 people that are involved in the Philharmonic and the people involved in the organization of it. They are in danger of shutting down. They are funded partially by the county, and they did not receive the funding this year that they have in the past. They've received a couple $1 million since they began getting funding about a dozen years ago, and they received nothing from the county this year. They applied for a $150,000 fund, and they didn't get it. And now they're in danger of shutting down. I mean, in conjunction with struggling ticket sales, people just don't go to live stuff as much as they used to because of the internet and music downloads and stuff like that. So they did a private organizational fundraising thing, and
it's a kind of a power play.
Yeah.
See, it's that one guy is kind of like
he
saying,
got all their money.
If I'm going to give you this money, I have to be the president of like.
Yeah, it's a little.
It's interesting.
It's a little odd that way. I didn't really understand why. Not that $150,000 is a little bit of money, but in terms of the operational budget of a 130-member company, I didn't understand why they didn't just reduce staff by 4 or 5 musicians. I don't know. When I was third chair oboe, they could have kicked me out just to have 2 chairs. So I don't understand why they didn't do a little bit of cutbacks. Maybe they don't want to cost anyone their job, but I hope they can figure it out. Look, I don't want to blame the county for not giving them money. The county makes decisions every year, and someone's going to be unhappy. Whenever a budget comes out, I guarantee you a lot of people are not happy because they're organization or their department is not getting the full funding that they've asked for, and if you don't, and you have to expect to not get some money. Like we were talking with Fofo about before. He and his organization and hundreds of organizations apply for grants to the county. Sometimes you get it and you're good. Sometimes you don't, and you have to operate without that money. So hopefully the National Philharmonic can figure this out, and we can continue their fine music at Strathmore every year. All right, we want to thank Fat Fingers again for having us here, Jimmy, the owner, and Jose and Billy for taking care of us here. We love the food. I mean, it is awesome comfort food here at Fat Fingers. Pizza, fatwiches, burgers, chicken fingers, tater tots, a little bit of everything here at Fat Fingers. Downtown Silver Spring, the old Paisano spot, 8213 Georgia Avenue. And thanks to Coach Fofo. If you learn a little bit about ESYDA, ESYDA today, then we did our works. And so check them out and all the good that they do here in Montgomery County for Montgomery County kids. So we appreciate that, and thanks to Fat Fingers, and we'll talk to you next week.